And a good morning to you. Welcome. Another amazing, exciting, fulfilling edition of Wake Up Nigeria for a Tuesday. Every single edition promises to be, well, hey, memorable, as they always have been. It's a great family experience for everybody, and you are welcome.
It's a breakfast show like no other, and we have painstakingly curated every single second to meet your expectations. So take a deep breath. Yes, so.
Woosah.
And get ready for a great 1 hour, 45 minutes.
Yes, indeed. Heartwarming moments are lined up and await you all through the entire show. So, hey, whatever it is you're expecting, don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll impress you guys with everything that we got ready for you guys.
Yeah.
Just, help you pick up the pace for the rest of the year, even if it's only just the end of February.
Speaking of exceeding expectations, she brings it every single morning.
Oh.
Yes, she is super fly. Look at that jacket. I don't care. I'm beginning to be
Silky fly smooth.
Look at that. Oh my
It's
God.
Winfred.
Good morning, guys. Titi, stop. You have to stop at some point.
Why?
You do this to everybody, or is it just me?
Well,
You do it to everybody, don't worry.
You have to stop
I know.
Winfrey, because I mean it's a bit too much for us in the morning. We can't take
Exactly.
all that awesomeness.
Oh,
yes, no.
Stop it.
So who won? Who won? Myself or Titi? Who you gonna give the good score?
Day one.
Oh, come on.
oh well. We'll keep trying. Keep trying.
Exactly, and I must say that you look fantastic. A pumpkin wearing a blue suit is always a nice thing to see in the morning. Tell you guys what.
Wow.
I was wondering if men can pull that off. Can
Men can.
Winfrey?
Whether you can, I don't know. We have quite a bit coming your way.
Wow.
Okay.
I wasn't here.
That was me. That was me.
Winfrey, please
You
help.
called me a pumpkin. you literally
Okay,
called me
okay.
I totally wasn't here.
Truce,
That's it.
truce. 1-1.
Okay.
1-1.
My name is Titi Layo.
And of course, my name is Mazino, not the pumpkin appeal. And remember, you guys can use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC across all the social media platforms that we made available for you to be part of the best breakfast television show this side of the equator.
Watching us live is easy. Anywhere across the world that you are, our mobile app is available for you to download. Google Play, iOS, no matter what you're using, you can watch us with no stress.
Or channel 16 on GOTV, you probably are seeing us on that one already. UHF 49 and 114 StarTimes. Also, please follow us across all the social media handles, Facebook, X,
Yeah.
Threads, Instagram. What do we
Okay.
have for today then?
Amaka Odunowo, personal and family life coach with a background in guidance counseling with over 15 years of experience, cultivating a deep understanding of household dynamics and so much more. We're going to be talking to her about the traits of a toxic parent.
Yes, indeed.
And now there is, of course, the health segment coming your way. It's a very, very important one, yes? Dr. Bonjubola Abiri.
Tell you what we're going to do. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, more inside of Wake Up Nigeria. Yeah, trust us. What?
Titi, high
What?
five.
Hey!
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, you don't get it. You don't get into this one. It's funny how you always feel you have quick wits, right? But when they give it back to you, straight,
it
you
doesn't-
you don't see it coming. Never. Okay.
I actually felt so bad when I
Moment
said it
once.
though, but I was like, yes, it entered. But I felt really bad.
He did.
I'm going to make you feel bad right
He
now.
literally called me a pumpkin. Like,
Hey,
who does that?
He does it and he just puts blue.
beautiful looking
Oh my
pumpkin.
gosh.
Interesting.
You know where this jacket is from? Ashley.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Do you know where that body is from?
Ooh, she got it from her mama.
But speaking of jackets, that is such a nice jacket.
Thank you. It's
So sweet.
Joseph H. Rose.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
So
Nice.
talented.
Loving it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great, great, great.
I'm not complimenting her
So
anymore.
where's your jacket?
Whatever.
Oh, he doesn't have one.
Real quick, wanted to apologize for the little snafu we
Yeah,
had
yeah,
from
yeah, of
before, but
course.
welcome back. It's Wake Up Nigeria, still the show that you expected to see here. We're going to give you some great stuff. We've got Dr. Bonjubola coming on for a health. We're still talking about mental place in health.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mental health. mental health in the workplace.
Yeah, she's talking about how to take control of your emotions.
Yeah.
Because emotions and your health kind of,
Yeah.
go hand in hand these days.
Yeah, Mazuru needs that.
Well, yeah.
a lot
We
of
also
mental
still have
health,
a
yeah.
Mako Dunowo coming in for parenting, and also Chinko Eko will be joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have some music performance coming your way as well.
usual.
So it's going to be great. Oh, yeah, Wealth Doherty is our performer today. We're looking forward because he's got such a very beautiful style of music. So morning once again, and welcome for the news inside of Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now, the Trade Union Congress says its members will not be participating in a planned protest scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday, the 27th and 28th of February, respectively, due to the prevailing economic hardship in the country. This is according to the president of the TUC, Festus Osifo, during a press conference earlier yesterday in Abuja. To ameliorate the hardship faced by citizens, the TUC is now advising the FG, the federal government, to import food in the next 2 weeks, adding that it will submit a 15-point recommendation to government to that effect. According to him, Nigerians have never witnessed this level of hardship, adding that the problems are not unconnected to the government's poor patronage of locally made products and services and lack of capable hands at the helm of affairs. TUC also tasked the federal government to revive operations of the Port Harcourt refinery and commence production by March 2024. Now, the federal government has engaged the services of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Adegboyega Awomolo, to lead its legal team in the persecution of alleged treasonable felony against terrorism charges it brought against Nnamdi Kanu. Now, Mr. Awomolo is taking over from David Kashwe, a senior lawyer from the Federal Ministry of Justice in Abuja, who has been handling the case for the federal government. Mr. Kanu has also engaged new lawyers for his defense. The new team of lawyers is led by Aloy Ajimako and Pam Ejiofor. No reasons have been given or adduced for the change in the legal team that was led by Mike Ozehweme San and also Ifeanyi Ejiofor. The trial of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, resumed at the Federal High Court in Abuja earlier yesterday before Justice Binta Nyako. The federal government had filed an amended 15 counts of terrorism and treasonable felony against Nnamdi Kanu in 2021. Justice Nyako had struck out 8 out of the 15 counts after ruling on the preliminary objection filed by counsel to Mr. Kanu challenging the propriety of the charges. His preliminary objection had sought the outright dismissal of the entire charge. And now outside Nigeria, due to the escalating violence in the occupied West Bank and the war in Gaza, Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh has announced the resignation of his government, which rules part of the occupied West Bank. Now, the PM who subscribed or submitted his resignation to the President Mahmoud Abbas on Monday said the decision to resign came in light of the unprecedented escalation in the West Bank and Jerusalem and the war, the genocide, and also starvation in the Gaza Strip. The Prime Minister's decision is coming as U.S. pressures grows on President Abbas to shake up the Palestinian Authority and begin work on a political structure that can govern a Palestinian state following the war. And that's all we have for the news. And do stay tuned. We've got more coming your way inside of Wake Up Nigeria. Welcome. What's up and about, ladies? Ooh, I got something.
Dancing.
So I saw this
Father,
very
daughter
interesting.
dance.
Don't spoil it yet. I was going to go in somewhere. So I saw this very interesting dance between Kunle Afolayan and this beautiful young lady, very young lady.
Oh, God.
I would have thought that, wow, this is perhaps a
Christ.
fan or somebody who was so excited to see him. There was the excitement in the lady's face and expressions that shows that she really likes this person, perhaps maybe even loved this person. The dance went on and it hit social media, and everybody was really concerned after they found out that this lady who was dancing with Kunle Afolayan was actually his daughter. Now, a dance with a daughter, being a father to a daughter myself, is everything a father wants, to be able to have such a relationship with your daughter. However, this dance was, what many say, rather untoward. Let's put it that way, because it was a bit too close, as they say, and quite uncomfortable to see. Even personally, I'm going to say that.
So I feel like I was actually really not uncomfortable to see it until I heard that it was the daughter. But
exactly.
Okay, so first of all, is it actually confirmed it's his daughter? I have to ask that.
Yes, it's his daughter.
It is confirmed. Okay.
Barring any lawsuits that might come if it's not his daughter.
It's a bit much. It's a bit much if it isn't. In my opinion, I wouldn't condone this, in my home, this kind of dance. But it feels like something that they've probably done regularly. It feels like something that's natural to them. They are dancing and they're having a good time. Now, this is not to say that, you know, there's anything untoward about the relationship outside this dance we're seeing on this video. But there is a way social media tends to push things in a particular place.
I see what you're doing.
An uncomfortable place.
I see what you're
So
doing.
I'm just saying, I would
What
love
is
to
your
hear
own
from. I would
personal
love
thoughts?
to
Leave
hear
social
from
media
him.
alone. You
I
saw
would
the
love to hear
video.
from
What did you
him.
think? What did
She
you
would
think?
love,
I
she would
already
love to
said
hear
it.
from
I would love to hear from him.
I'm sure he's going to come out with a statement or something.
Yeah, he should.
I'm sure.
He
has
probably
to,
will.
Because that's a bit damning.
I assumed that it was a girlfriend or a fan.
It has to.
Or something like that. I assumed that. When I saw
Winfrey, what do you think? You dance with my father tonight. Do you remember that song? Do you remember that song? Who was it by?
Luther.
Luther Vandross. Oh,
I love that song, by the
love it.
way.
Very beautiful.
But what did you think?
See. See.
Okay.
I don't know how to enter this conversation.
Yeah.
Because, very honest, I think a lot of things are distorted in this life that we're in, this world that we're living in. I understand the craziness that's happening. I understand. I mean, there's several perversions. There are several crazy things happening in the world. However, right, if we actually look to the fact of it, you rather see a young woman grind up on a total stranger. I mean, yesterday we were talking about, let me land.
Okay.
Yesterday we were talking literally about Omale and how we picked someone's girlfriend from the stage and they were doing all that. But it was fine because, but now you see a father and daughter dancing and because, okay, she was bending over and all of that. I understand where everyone's coming from. But to be very honest, this is flesh and blood. I'm not saying people are not crazy, people don't think different things, but the way, I don't see that. I feel what sexualizes it is when you think about it that way.
Society.
Because, for
Societal
instance, now, if I
Social
see
media.
social media, even personal things, right? Do you understand? If I literally think, just like me having a puppy and the puppy jumps on me and is licking all over me, would I sexualize a dog? Some people will though.
Yeah.
Seriously, because I mean, those
Yeah.
kind of things happen.
So
but honestly, I just feel like this is something that is, I mean, world apart. This is something that is adorable. This closeness, I would like to see closeness in families, daughters, father. Do you understand? I mean, I would like to have a home personally where everyone is like close-knit, right? But I mean, the world and society we're living in now, because of how crazy it is,
Sexualizes
everything is
everything, yeah?
sexualizes everything and makes everyone also
Which is
guarded.
why I
Okay,
said-
okay,
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
Okay, so I love where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And as a father who's got a daughter, I'm also very concerned. I keep asking this question. I asked my wife, I asked you this morning, when do I note that socially I have to
Stop
put certain
dancing with your
boundaries
daughter.
when it comes to
Or stop bathing
physical
your
relationships
daughter.
with my daughter?
Yeah.
Right now, she's a kid. She's all over me and everything.
Yeah.
Is there a time that has to stop? Society will say yes. 8 years ago, there was a picture, I think it was Flavor Nabania and his daughter, where he kissed his daughter on the lip. And it went viral. Everyone was like, you can't kiss your daughter on the lip. However, I remember that time I was on radio and I said one thing. This was a moment captured in eternity.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been a kiss that lasted for longer than a second. It might have been just
But it
a
was
peck,
captured.
but it was captured. And it being framed and put still in that position for eternity made it seem like as if, oh no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
But regarding that, I was all for it. I'm like, hey, listen, it's a father and a daughter. Of course I'd kiss my daughter up until a time, that kind of
course.
thing. However, there is a point to note that there has to be a point where you have to put some gap or limit to that kind of expression. Now, in this case, and just like Winfrey said, I love the fact that a father can be that close to a daughter.
Yes,
I love the
but
fact
it
that they
does-
can continue.
mind
Let me
you-
finish. Let me
Mind you, he
finish.
was bending
opens
over.
it.
He was bending over.
Let me finish. Exactly. Now, he was wearing a huge attire, a
Yeah,
regalia,
sure,
which we don't, I mean, you can't say for sure what it was like, what the point of contact.
Are you go?
We
No,
can
let me
say,
finish.
I
I'm
can
saying-
say,
no, no.
because I
Yeah.
mean, normally when you see those kind of dances with like random people, the guys are usually tilted forward, not backward.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I'm like,
Now we're looking at the anatomy of this
Nan-
dance.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
actually
Okay, can we
analyzing
take it away from
I'm not done.
anatomy?
Oh, no,
though?
I'm not that. No, we have to. We have to, and there's nothing wrong with that, Titi.
Okay.
Listen, now, I adored that moment between the two of them, quite frankly, that they have that kind of relationship. And I hope that when my daughter is older, that we can have that kind of relationship. However, knowing society, knowing that there's social media and cameras all over the place, there are certain things I would not do because I do not want it to be misconstrued, misunderstood, or taken out of context.
I will never
I
live
would
my
not put
life-
myself in that position in public. And I would also perhaps maybe make my daughter understand the implications of these kinds of expressions, whether with me or with another gentleman.
That is where I'm going now. So automatically, it has become okay for her to dance in a particular way, right? With any gentleman.
No, it does. Nope, absolutely
It
not.
automatically makes
Absolutely
it
not.
okay.
You will not tell me because you boss your father, your husband, but it's your son and your daughter means it's automatic for any other person, any male gender to bait her. You can't say that now. Nah.
Automatically,
Boundaries can be
whatever
clearly
daddy
stated by
feels is
parents.
okay.
No.
Whatever is safe. Really,
No.
whatever I can do with my this is
You
how
have
I
no
dance with
idea
my
the
dad
conversations
now.
that
so
go-
this is okay to dance with.
That is
everyone
your
else.
dad. Come on.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's pretty general.
So obviously,
have very diverse
culture and
views on this.
society, culture and society have sort of divided everyone on this. For instance, there are some families where even a hug, even a handshake is hard to come by.
Yeah, also culture.
Right?
Culture also
Yeah?
has a point.
You get
has a
my
place
point.
here.
I can't even remember, this is me personally, I can't remember how many times I've hugged my dad. And we are a small knit family, we're just a family of four, my
Yeah.
mom, my dad, my brother, myself. And I can probably count on one hand how many times I know I've given him an actual full hug. So it does sort of lean towards a cultural mindset that, you know what, there are just some certain boundaries that Africans.
And are you okay with that? Are you
The
fine
boundaries?
with that?
So there were a lot of questions in the comments here.
Not about
And
the comment, are you okay
No.
with that?
So this is not even about me right now.
Okay, let me talk
I
about me.
already talked about.
No, let me
the
talk about
fact
me.
that
Let me
if,
talk about
for
me for a
instance,
while.
I was watching
Okay.
from far. I would assume it
Yeah.
was a stranger. I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah, true.
think
And,
it was
and that
his
is
daughter.
where my focus is.
Automatically.
Why would you be okay with a stranger dancing with a young woman in that way and not
She's
a
not
father?
saying she's okay. She's saying that she's
No, I'm just
assuming
saying,
that
no,
it
I'm
was.
generalizing now. I'm like, why would you, anyone that sees it? Do you understand? No, because she said, okay, fine, like she got a certain way when she realized and found out it was a daughter. And I'm like, why would a stranger have that
Cultural
access and
thing.
a father can't?
Well, strangers would, and it would, honestly, quite frankly, not a stranger to her, but strangers to us, and
Yeah.
strangers to this situation. It's not her father, Sha.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it would seem much more palatable.
Okay.
Let's put it in. However, I will, there are also
Already-
other. There are. Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
This is it now. There are
He's
also
a
other
father.
arguments where. I'm not with this anyway. But a man as old as Kunle Afolayan, should he be found dancing that kind of a dance? A married man as old as Kunle
It's a
Afolayan.
random girl.
Even if this girl was a
stranger.
random person,
With a stranger.
would it still be okay to see him in
Of
public
course it's
dancing
not,
that way?
but my point is that the public will accept it better.
They would accept it
They
better,
will
yeah?
accept it better. So that is my point. That is
Wow.
literally my point.
This is a kaleidoscope of
So
opinion.
I actually
you know,
assumed
it's-
that was
it's-
why it was trending. That he was seen with.
There's so many
No,
ways
it
to
will
look
never,
at this,
it will
actually.
never trend.
But I think the main thing here is boundaries, one, when it comes to father-daughter relationships.
Yeah.
I am not all with
I
the
think we should
interactions
preach
that happen inside of that
love,
moment.
Yeah.
genuine love.
However, I do appreciate the fact that they have a very solid relationship.
Yeah,
I
obviously.
will not trample on that.
Sure.
But these expressions may not be the best for social media,
public.
a public consumption,
Yeah.
public display
Yeah.
of that kind of affection.
And this is-
whatever
I
you
think
want
we
to
should
call
also
it.
consider the fact that if there was anything more to it, he probably wouldn't be that comfortable.
Yeah,
doing
he
it.
wouldn't be, definitely not. Absolutely.
I think there's
That's
several-
one thing to
people need
also
to
know.
think about certain things from different
Nobody
angles.
actually said there was more. Well, from this.
Oh,
from
really?
this
That's
test,
what? That's
yeah.
the. Oh,
No,
come
from this
on.
test,
That's
it
the.
was about
That's the.
the appropriate or inappropriate nature of the dance.
You know
So
what
we
I
assessed
think?
here.
I
We
think we
didn't go
should- I think-
beyond
I
the
think-
dance.
I
on
think-
Somebody
this test.
literally said that if they are discomfortable
This is
dancing,
what we're
they are
gonna do.
used to doing it.
We're gonna set ring light like Daddy Freeze. I'm gonna talk about this
Wow.
on our page, Wake Up Nigeria. So you guys, this is what we're gonna talk about today. Join us there. You can call it Wake Up Nigeria Extra if you want. Yeah. Let's do a break. This isn't done. We're not done yet. We're gonna have this. Okay. We'll be back. Stay tuned. And you're welcome. We're just coming off of a very funny conversation about our director and his antiques when he wants the cameraman to do stuff. But yeah. Alamde, we love you. Titi, thank you for joining for the papers. Good to have you on board.
Yeah, so yeah, the frame's complete now.
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's talk the papers. We've got a couple of papers this morning. The Punch, Daily Trust, which other ones? The Nation and the Tribune are what we're going to be looking at. Yep. We will start from the Punch newspaper. Would you like to begin, please?
Yes, it says here on the cover of the Punch, today is Tuesday, February 27th. 27th already, goodness me.
2 days more.
2024. Headline says, 12 years after, Tinubu adopts Oronsaye report, merges agencies. Tinubu orders SGF panel to implement mergers in 12 weeks. Minister rules out job losses. NDPHC Diaspora Commission, 2 others move to ministries. PTAD abolished.
I just wanted to say something real quick about this. 12 years ago when this report was submitted, it seemed like the best way to go because of the multiple, functions, multiple functions of some of these ministries. Some of them were doing the same things. You can even still see it in your daily lives when it comes to what the, your traffic, for instance, authorities, for instance, duplications of efforts. How many people are in these ministries that are collecting the same, that are collecting amounts for the same job? Merging these things would actually save the country plenty of money. However, that would mean job losses. Now, the question now is if they're going to merge them and they're ruling out job losses, where exactly are these personnel going to go? What are they going to do? It would not be a case of redundancy when it comes to the activities that they were meant to do. But then again, I guess that there's so much that has to be done when it comes to Nigeria that
So 12 years ago and today, there's probably a lot more things that need to be done in different areas. There are new industries that have evolved over 12 years. There's things like, even just IT probably has expanded by 300%. There's things like AI, there's things like the youth matters and all that. So I'm thinking there will be space for people, probably not all, but I'm looking at the graphic here.
Oh yes, let's take a look at that.
For instance, it says here some key recommendations include 263 agencies being slashed to 161. 52 agencies to be merged, 14 to be downgraded into departments in ministries, as opposed to being a single ministry in itself. So maybe the jobs will be retained. It's just that they are no longer considered a ministry, just a department within another.
What's much more relevant to every single person is how much will be saved with this effort, and where are those monies going to be directed toward?
So it's a really interesting infographic on the cover of the Punch. You should check it out.
Thank you very much, Punch.
If you want to see more. CBN sells over $300 million to banks as Naira gains.
Yay.
It says here, SANS list expectations as Supreme Court justices rise to 21. That's what we have on the cover of the Punch.
Oh, yes. There is also one that I'm sure we'll find in other papers. Customs suspend rice sale after 7 die in stampede. But let's see if we find that in other iterations on the other dailies. Moving on now to the Daily Trust newspaper. I'm going to be quick with this one so we can get to the Nation. Protest in Lagos, Osun Edo over hardship. FG Labour meeting deadlocked. IG puts officers on red alert, warns troublemakers. Begin food importation now, TVC tells the FG. There were protests at, I think, Ojuelegba and there were protests.
I think?
Yeah, Ojota, if I'm not mistaken. There were heavy police presence, actually, very, very heavy in these places. We'll talk about that some more. Reps to conclude Constitution Amendment in 24 months. Rail sector starved of Forex, says NECA, and water scarcity hits the FCT. You must remember that the FCT is very arid. I've lived there once, and I can tell you how troublesome it was actually getting access to water. For there to be water scarcity with the present economic situation and food scarcity. It's tough living in the FCT currently. What paper do you have now? Let's move on.
I still have the Daily Trust with me here, but I guess we should move on to another one. We have the Tribune, still also talking about the Oronsaye report, FEC OK's full implementation 12 years later to merge agencies and departments. And of course, the list of affected agencies is right there. Staff of affected agencies won't lose jobs, it says. Committee get 12 weeks to perfect legal framework, restructuring. So 12 weeks is what, 3 months? About 3 months.
12 weeks, yes, that's 3 months.
To make that happen.
In media
so the whole
terms.
quarter. federal government to pay unemployment benefits to youth and set up customer credit program. Top left, it says 30 billion naira to governors. Akpabio recants, apologizes. FEC okays 1 trillion naira for phase 1 of Lagos Port Harcourt Calabar Coastal Road. And let's see what else we have here. CSOs protest over high cost of living in Lagos, Edo, Osun. Maritime workers to join NLC protest as Labour says no going back. Police put personnel on alert nationwide.
There's also that headline: Customs suspend rice sale over the stampede. I think there is a Yaba outpost where they were distributing these seized rice, if I'm not mistaken, from the borders, and that was one of the places we had these instances. I don't know if a suspension is the best thing, however, and I'm wondering if what everybody else out there thinks, because we do need these, what do you call them, palliatives. Quite frankly, it seems like a good idea. However, how it's been distributed is the matter now. The mechanism behind that, how many people are getting reached. There is also talk about the fact that most people who absolutely need these aid won't go get it. Most people who go get it would actually sell it.
So there's no.
Are we meeting the right people?
So there's no way to really tell if it's being consumed or sold, and if it's even the same thing, really.
Exactly. There's so many questions regarding the apparatus being used, but yeah, also very interesting is the recommendations of the Aransai report. If you read the details here on the Tribune, you'll be wondering why in the first place some of these agencies were set up. But let's go to our final paper for today.
The Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency and National Institute of Pharmaceutical Research and Development.
You'd expect
to become one agency.
You'd expect that would be an agency of its own from before, not two different agencies. There's also one about trypanosomia and Minister of am I correct now?
Trypanosomiasis.
Yes.
Right? But I don't know what that word means. I won't lie about that.
I'll explain it to you.
Tell me.
I'll explain it to you after. Let me not say something that I'm not too sure of.
Veterinary research is also there. A diaspora commission to become an agency under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Border agencies as well. There's, let me go back to that paper.
Border
Community Development Agency is one on its own. And now it's to become a department under the National Boundary Commission, which would seem like a no-brainer from before.
12 years.
12 years since this was recommended, and only just now we're getting implementation. Then perhaps that it's trypanosomiasis, by the way, is
sleeping sickness.
Exactly. So it's you know the tsetsefly?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
There is a very unique reason why it's called
trypanosomiasis.
Trypanosomiasis.
Yeah.
Which is, if I told you the details, is very, very irritating.
Okay, you know what?
All right, the Nation newspaper.
I don't plan to be irritated.
Yeah, so let me not gore you out.
Okay.
The Nation newspaper. Now, many federal government agencies, departments to go into major rejig. We just read about this, and that's what we're still talking about. Mergers also to take place for efficiency, implementation of Aransai report, not to sack workers. Still wondering how that's going to work. At the top of the Nation, way out of economic crisis by TUC. Protest police on alert. Supreme Court gets full complement of 21 justices, and Southwest speakers demand state police power devolution. FEC approves 1.07 trillion naira for Lagos Calabar Coastal Road, and there's more with a chart on the Nation newspaper. Everybody's going the way of charts these days, and this is actually very good for easy consumption. Nigeria reaping the benefits of reforms. Some very interesting details on there.
So it does say we had some gains, 3.46% year-on-year GDP growth in Q4 versus 2.54 in Q3. So better performance than anticipated.
So I like this that the Nation is doing regarding these gains that Nigeria is making. And I've always said that when it comes to Nigeria, it's actually a case of the citizenry not knowing exactly what's happening and how or what the advantages are. You could make certain gains and then nobody knows about it, and then everybody hits the streets because they've not been informed. So apart from the dailies, which seem to be not the first way people get information these days, there has to be other means by which information can be dispensed to common people. Data is not cheap.
Yeah, true. Very true.
It's no longer
Very
cheap.
true.
So there needs to be other...
It's actually interesting information. Capital importation into Nigeria up 6%. in Q4, reversing at a 36% decline in Q3. So it's actually really interesting. If you look at the graphic a little closer, you'll understand what we mean. You could try and grab a copy if you want some more information.
And that's as much as we can take for the dailies. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got more inside of Wake Up Nigeria. It's only just this. Wow.
Yeah.
Time does fly when you're having fun.
Yes, it
But in any case, stay tuned. We've got more coming your way. We'll be back.
Still a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning right here on Wake Up Nigeria, and the conversations begin. Right now I have with me Amaka Odunawa, a personal and family life coach with a background in guidance and counseling. Now, with over 15 years of experience, she has cultivated a deep understanding of household dynamics, working across diverse sectors such as family, nonprofit schools, churches, coaching organizations, and so much more. And today we're going to be having a conversation, toxic parenting. Welcome back to Wake Up Nigeria.
Thank you for having
You
me.
look so bright and beautiful. I
Thank
love your
you,
outfit.
you
And your
too.
skin is popping. Everything is right.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
so I know you said I shouldn't ask you this question, but I'm just going to generalize it, right? So do you believe that's before we get into main conversations, do you believe there should be like limits and limitations to parents, children, interactions? Now, I'll give you a wild example, right? I was having a conversation with some people a while back, and then someone was talking about how, she stops her husband from dating a kid at like, what, 2? And all of that. And I was like, okay, 2, okay. So what was your take on that? Some people will argue, okay, why are you taking the innocence out of that relationship? Some people will argue, okay, no, you still have to set the boundaries.
Okay, so this question has tangles, so to speak, because we are thinking culture, we are thinking personal values, we are thinking tradition. When I say culture, I mean popular culture. What's popular, what's trending, what's normal in your particular time or where you are. I'm thinking the traditions that were passed down to you. I'm thinking your personal values. We might also be thinking your faith, your religion, your personal convictions. So I won't say a one size
Fits everyone?
Fits everyone. However, there are a few lines that should not be crossed with boundaries. So generally, yes, in speaking to a child, right, when I speak to mothers, because mothers tend to do that more, we'll say, the trauma and the baggage you have with your husband, you don't need to discuss it with your child. Don't transfer it.
Yeah, so now I'm talking more of like interactions when it comes to like physicality. For instance, now there was a video trending of Kune Afolayan dancing with his daughter. Some people are like, oh, it's too raunchy. It should not be, it should like, it's a no. And some people are like, oh no, it shows that something is happening behind the scenes. Some people are like, okay, see, it's just cute. It's just a father having fun with his daughter. So something like that.
Okay, so I haven't watched the video. I don't know what's about, so I can't speak directly to it. And like I said, it comes down to traditions, to values, to culture. So everybody that is watching the video is looking at it with a particular lens. And the people doing the dance are also looking at it with a particular lens. So I feel like we don't have, especially in Nigeria, you know, we're segmented in so many different bits and pieces. We don't have one view and one voice over a lot of matters. I can't speak directly to it. I've not seen it. I don't know what it's like. I would, however, say that we should, in every interaction we have with our children, we should think, what is the long-term effect? What's the purpose of this thing? Why are we doing it? Is it necessary? Is it going to help my children in future? Right? Is it teaching them something? Is it helping a future relationship? Is it calling my daughters or my sons? Is it making our relationship questionable to others? Because there are honestly some things that might not be wrong, but they would give you a bad reputation and you want to, but you understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, and if you don't care, that's okay, you don't care. So it really just...
Okay,
really
let's go into our conversation for today. Just wanted to pick your brain a little bit on that issue. So now let's talk about toxic parenting. Now what would you define as toxic?
So I think toxic for me runs a spectrum. You have something that is generally unpleasant, right? You just don't want to be around it. You don't like it, it's a smell or something. And then it runs all the way to fatal, right, can actually kill you. And so when I think toxic parenting, I'm thinking attitudes, behaviors, characters of parents, or things that they do that is not necessarily who they are, but they just do it while parenting, right? That is either really unpleasant consistently, or can be very detrimental to their children or the relationship they have with their children.
Okay, okay,
Right.
okay, great. Okay, so now would you give like examples of those kind of behaviors?
Okay, so we have one that is really popular in Nigeria, well, in the mental health space, which is gaslighting, right?
Okay.
We're all talking about gaslighting.
Okay.
And, well, we grew up, I don't know if you grew up with, why are you crying? Did I beat you? What did I say? Did you experience
Let's not talk
anything
about
like
what I
that?
grew up with.
Okay, but a lot of us grew up with, I
Yeah.
would give you a reason to cry. What did I say to you that's making you cry? Did I beat
Okay,
you?
okay.
Did we do it? Like somebody will do something to you and people are like, what is wrong with you? And the person is standing in front of you and is like, did I do anything to you? Oh, yeah, talk. Did I do anything? Open, you get, and you know. Do you see? And so the child grows up really questioning, did I experience that? What's going on in my mind? You know, and then you have a lot of mental health issues and self-confidence issues arising from there. You have verbal abuse, right? When you're saying things that tear your child down, which is also like very close to emotional abuse, right? There's a lot of belittling, there's a lot of criticism, humiliation, right? You're beating a child in public, you're tearing off a child's clothes. Like it can be extreme, and then it can also, you know, come into class to slap a child because the child did not do their chores in the morning. Some of us saw others have those experiences while we were growing up, right? Where a parent would have the child disciplined in front of the entire school. The principal would say, you do not listen to your mother at home. Do you see? And these things have long-term adverse effects on individuals. We're also thinking neglect of the children in different ways. Really anything that affects the child physically, mentally, that psychologically, emotionally, and even spiritually as well. We're thinking physical abuse.
Okay, now I'm going to hold you right there.
Okay.
So before you said physical abuse, I was going to say, okay, fine. Am I noticing you're not necessarily speaking about spanking or things like that? And then you say physical abuse, right? So now we know a lot of us grew up with the saying, spare the rod and spoil the child. So now when you say physical abuse, some people have the school of thoughts that never spank your child. In fact, never use the word no or anything negative when speaking with a child. So are you also of that school of thought, and where's the limit?
Those are two different questions.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the question of no.
Yeah.
It is being an inconsistent, lack of boundaries, not a firm parent is detrimental for your child, because a child growing up without boundaries, the child doesn't feel safe. The child doesn't know what to expect. You're erratic. Today anything goes. Tomorrow anything goes. The child can harm themselves. It's a lot. So we actually put inconsistency, erratic, and lack of boundaries as a part of toxic parenting as
okay,
well,
great,
right?
great.
Children have, life is no. You see, children have to be able to handle no. They're going to be hearing no more than they're going to be hearing yes, as they grow up. You give a proposal, somebody will say no. Are you going to die? Do you see? So they should start learning to hear no from, from the home and being okay with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So yes, boundaries.
Now, physical,
But now for the issue of spanking and smacking
versus physical abuse.
versus physical abuse, right? This is what I'm going to say about it. There are people that are, it's a dicey issue. So, people are on both sides of like, never ever raise your hand to a child. A child does not need to suffer in that way. And there are people like, this is necessary, it's a part of what needs to be done. And there are people that are in the middle are like, do you know what? I might not do this every day, but once in a while we need a manual reset, right? What I would say is, look at yourself. Is smacking changing the child? Is this solving the problem, or is it helping you to get rid of the aggravation you're feeling? While you're smacking the child on, have you trained the child? I didn't say have you said. Have you trained the child? You've spoken to the child, you've practiced with the child, you've modeled it, right? What you're smacking the child over, do you have self-control? Or because it's a child and cannot fight you back, you're like, why did you do this? Do you see? And there's a total lack of self-control where it's really not about what the child did. It's about what you're feeling. And for a lot of mothers, I tell them, when you watch it, because we do a lot of tracking in my work, right? If you track it, most times when you're tempted to smack your children. It's because you are dysregulated, you are tired, you're upset, the child has been challenging you, or you're angry, and check it. A lot of times when a parent is happy, things are good, a child will do something like, be careful, don't do that again. Do you see?
True.
And the child might get away with it. And then one day you're actually already upset, you're already angry. Or maybe it's even the child that has upset you.
Yeah, consistently.
Consistently.
Because I noticed that things happen like this where you tell a child one thing over and over again, and it seems like the person is just testing you. So in that situation, what would you advise?
I'll say, a lot of times parents think talking is training. So I'm saying something to you, you're not listening. I'm not going to use the exact word, but we say when you keep doing something and it's not working.
Yeah, change your
Right.
methods, yeah.
You need to change your methods because it's really not on the child at that point, it's you. You need
So
to
what
step back
would
and
you say is training? How best?
Training is taking somebody by the hand and saying, you need to learn this. How best am I going to make sure you need to know this? Do I need to speak to you? Do I need to model it? Do I need to show you how it's done? Do we need to practice together?
Yeah.
So the easiest and fastest way we do it is something like, watch me do it, which is true for younger children, right? They learn by observing their environment. They just soak up whatever is going on, the language that is spoken, the actions that are taken, the routines that are done, how people relate with each other. And so the first thing is watch me do it. And the next thing is, let's do it together.
Yeah,
and then the more we do it together, the more independent I leave you. Because at the end of the day, that's the goal as parents. You're supposed to train yourself out of a job in every aspect, right? And so we'll keep doing it together till it gets to the point that I'm comfortable with you doing it. And after a while, you do it and then I supervise.
Okay.
Right? And then after a while, I let you do it. And so it's hard. A lot of us assume that parenting is going to be easy. We assume that, but we don't get into parenting with manuals. They don't train you
No, they don't.
in the office, in the hospital, right? And so you don't have the idea. But if you
Yes.
practice
And
you're more,
Yeah.
sorry.
And even more, like, I mean, because most of us, I mean, come on, when you talk about our parents, right, Nigerian mothers, especially with the whole trending video of Nigerian mother, of course
Yes.
you understand? So we're used to it, and now it's even like fun when you look back, but then again,
Hurt
definitely
people hurt people, and so we are passing
true.
trauma down. Generations.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
It was such an
having
interesting
me.
conversation, and it was amazing. And this is our final.
Yeah.
Aw, so sad. But then again, we're definitely sure we'll be having you back soon enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And that's it on this episode of Parenting, right? Still so much to come right here on Wake Up Nigeria. We'll be right back. Hey.
Welcome back. It's the second hour here for the ultimate family show, Wake Up Nigeria. And if you've just joined us, or if you enjoyed the previous hours, 2 different classes there, welcome if you're just joining us. And thank you for tuning in at 7 a.m. if you joined earlier. We've got another 45 minutes, don't we?
And hopefully that will surpass all your expectations. We're glad you stay tuned to us. We always have this 1,000-meter smile on our faces.
That's what we like to call it.
We always do. And speaking of 1,000-meter smiles, when she smiles, the sun rises.
I'm not going to do this.
What? No, come on.
Last time I complimented her, she hit me back
Oh,
bad.
man.
So
we're on a roll.
We got Winfrey, that's it. That's
See, believe you me, my name alone is like singing my praises. So as far as, you don't have to do much.
Yes,
It's
sir.
all good. Hi, guys.
Hey, Winnie.
I was not going to say this, but there was a debate over who was prettier. Whether it was Winfrey or whether it was Mary or whether it was Titi. Would you want to know who the winner is, Winfrey?
You.
Do you want to know who the winner is?
I really don't care because
You
you're
do-
beautiful. Oh, even you, Miss
I-
You're a beauty. You're a beauty.
Well,
We're there when Mazino's putting
now
his
that you
makeup on.
said that,
Wow.
in any case, everybody won actually, all of you. Thank you very much. It's also a very, very big pleasure to always be in your midst every single morning, both of you, because I've learned not to choose one over the other. Sense. Anyhow.
Let Mary come back first. We'll have this conversation again. But we have one of the most universal languages around the world. That is the gift that we are about to give you. You know,
Yes,
we're able to
indeed.
give you every single morning.
Yeah.
It's a silver lining every single minute that goes by.
Yes, indeed, especially here on Wake Up Nigeria. So much opportunities for you guys to soar to greater heights as we bring you positivity every morning. My name is Mazino Appeal.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinso. We know you're on board with us, but just in case you were wondering, you can use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC across all social media platforms to be a part of the show even further. And it is the best breakfast show on Nigerian TV, just in case you didn't know.
There is the option of carrying us with you if you're leaving home right now. That's because you must have on your phone the app, the TVC app, which is available for download on iOS or Google Play Store.
GOTV Channel 16, UHF Channel 49, StarTimes Channel 121. And of course, on social media, all handles at TVC Entertainment _.
Yes, indeed. Stay in the loop, guys. Make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, TVC Entertainment, TVC Connect as well, up on YouTube. And ring the bell so you get every notification that comes your way. By the way, we're live on YouTube where you can leave comments and we can read along as the show goes on. We had a very hot topic from this morning regarding Kunle Afolayan. I don't think we're finished yet. So let's get your comments on that one, okay? Let's let them know what we have coming.
Kehinde Odesola is Kenny Mastermind, a really great Nigerian visual artist. Recently achieved a remarkable feat by breaking not one, but two Guinness World Records. And he accomplished the longest marathon coloring lasting 36 hours and the longest painting marathon lasting an impressive 110 hours.
I think he was enjoying that marathon a bit too much because I know what kept him going.
Are you sure about that?
A painting can be very, very...
expensive?
No, not expensive, exciting.
Oh.
Those fumes.
Wow, Mazino. I'm going to act like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Joining us still, Dr. Bunjubola Abiri, consultant psychiatrist, lecturer, managerial psychologist, and also, hey, she's a professional speaker and the CEO of Redimed. Hang on a second.
Ready-made.
Ready-made. I keep saying Redimed every day. Now, she'll be joining us today. We're going to be talking about mental health in the workplace and the handbook of forensics. So please make sure that you're joining us then.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, you about to say something?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so I actually wanted to mention the fact that Nigeria is presently at the Miss World competition.
Ooh. Yay.
Yes, and Ada Emma is representing us really proudly.
That's fantastic.
So she won the head-to-head challenge alongside 4 other contestants. So now the head-to-head challenge is literally where you literally sit before like jury and like people and everyone and literally talk about your passion, your pet project.
Is it also a test of your intellect?
Exactly, it's a test of your out of, in fact, the entire world, right?
Wow.
Every country
She
over
won.
100, yeah. So herself and
nice.
4 others won.
Nigerians
and they
are
won
very
a grant
intelligent.
of like $5,000.
Wow.
To actually invest into their projects back home.
Wow.
Pageant girls are literally doing a great job.
I had Ugochi here last week and we talked about her passion as well. She is tall.
Yeah, she is.
Way. I couldn't stand up next to her.
Yeah, I was imagining what that would have done to
you weren't here. I was hoping that you would be here. To actually she walked in and I was sat already. I'm like, nope, not doing this.
Ada is tall as well, like was like 6'2", thereabout.
Yeah.
Pretty tall.
Nigerians are representing all over across the globe. You talked about the Nigerian bobsled.
Yes, bobsleigh, a female Nigerian bobsleigh.
Yeah, first female.
First female, and even the commentators were gushing over her. And she actually broke her record time, her own personal record time. And it just reminded me of this movie, Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings. You did?
Yeah.
I love
Cool Runnings. If you've not seen Cool Runnings.
She hasn't seen it.
It's probably the only, I'm not sure, probably the only movie about bobsleighing that actually let me know that that sport exists.
Synopsis, it's about a Jamaican bobsleigh team that wanted to make it to the Winter Olympics, but had to choose a sport, so they had to start from scratch practicing how to bobsleigh, and they made it to the Olympics. They didn't win, though.
No,
in fact,
but
it was
they
very
so far.
poignant how it ended, but it was very interesting.
It's I think it has something to do with them being people of color.
Yeah.
Because it was just considered a white boy thing.
Exactly.
And it's actually even so strange that it's 2024 that an African woman is doing it for the first time.
First time, yes.
So
I'm definitely going to be watching that movie again, and I will send you a link to see. No, I won't send you a link. No, I'm not saying. Sorry, I didn't. I will tell her where to legally see it. Welcome back again, second hour. Let's start it with the news. My name is Mazino Appeal. Once again, the Trade Union Congress says its members will not be participating in the planned protests scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday, the 27th and 28th of February, respectively, due to the prevailing economic hardship in the country. This is according to the president of the TUC, Festus Osifo, during a press conference earlier yesterday in Abuja. To ameliorate the hardship faced by citizens, the TUC is now advising the FG, that's the federal government, to import food in the next 2 weeks, adding it will submit a 15-point recommendation to government to that effect. Now, according to him, Nigerians have never witnessed this level of hardship, adding that the problems are not unconnected to the government's poor patronage of locally made products and services and lack of capable hands at the helm of affairs. TUC also tasked the federal government to revive operations of the Port Harcourt refinery and commence production by March 2024. And the federal government has engaged the services of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Adegboyega Awomolo, to lead the legal team in the prosecution of the alleged treasonable felony and terrorism charges it brought against Nnamdi Kanu. Mr. Awomolo is taking over from David Kaswe, a senior lawyer from the Federal Ministry of Justice in Abuja, who had been handling the case for the federal government. Mr. Kanu has also engaged new lawyers for his defense. The new team of lawyers is led by Aloy Ejimako and Pam Ejiofor. No reason has been adduced for the change in the legal team that was led by Mike Ozehome San and also Ifeanyi Ejiofor. The trial of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, resumed at the Federal High Court, Abuja, earlier yesterday before Justice Binta Nyako. The federal government had filed an amended 15 counts of terrorism and treasonable felony against Nnamdi Kanu in 2021. Justice Nyako had struck out 8 out of the 15 counts after building on the preliminary objections filed by counsel to Mr. Kanu challenging the propriety of the charges. His preliminary objection had sought the outright dismissal of the entire charge. And outside Nigeria, due to the escalating violence in the occupied West Bank and the war on Gaza, Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Stayeh has announced the resignation of his government, which rules part of the occupied West Bank. The PM, who submitted his resignation to the President Mahmoud Abbas, on Monday, said the decision to resign came in light of the unprecedented escalation in the West Bank and Jerusalem and the war, genocide and starvation in the Gaza Strip. The Prime Minister, his decision is coming as a U.S. pressure grows on President Abbas to shake up the Palestinian Authority and begin work on a political structure that can govern a Palestinian state following the war. And that's all for news this hour. Just stay tuned, more coming your way inside of Wake Up Nigeria.
Welcome back. Now, at least once in your life, you have this dream, pushing the envelope, doing something that nobody else has ever done in your field. Some people go for it, end up breaking those records, and some people don't. On the couch with us today, we have someone who strived to make it happen and was extremely successful at it. Kehinde Odesola is here. Now, he's known as Kenny Mastermind. He's a Nigerian visual artist, and he recently achieved a remarkable feat by breaking not 1, but 2 Guinness World Records. Now, he accomplished the longest marathon coloring, lasting 36 hours, and the longest painting marathon, lasting an impressive 110 hours. Kenny Mastermind, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
I know that people were expecting to see one crazy-looking human, like, 110 hours painting, maybe seeing paint all over you. But you just look like a very regular, simple, nice guy.
Yeah, I'm just a regular guy.
A regular guy?
Yes.
That can paint for 110 hours?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Can I see your fingers? Can I see your hands? Your hands are it's the same as everybody else's on there.
Yes.
All right, so you need to talk to us about how the idea for breaking this record ever came to be. Talk to us.
Okay, how the idea came was last year. I'm sure you know Ida Basi stuff.
Sure.
That was what gave me the morale. Like, I was like, so I can also do it. It's possible to break Guinness World Record. So let me try it. At least it will be an eye-opener for people to also see the other side of me, because a lot of people don't know me as a visual artist.
Okay.
Some people know me as a visual artist, but some people don't.
Okay.
So I felt like if I do it, to be an eye-opener for people to see, yes, I'm also a visual artist, because that's why I specialize in school.
So when did you apply for this?
I applied around July last year.
July.
No, June.
June,
Yes,
okay.
June last
So
year.
July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So this is 7 months
Yes.
later.
I got accepted last month,
Last month.
December.
Wow,
Oh,
okay.
sorry, last one was January. December.
Okay, in December. So you got the official letter
Yes.
from them,
Yes.
from Guinness World Records?
Yes.
How did it feel when you got that letter?
I was surprised because I don't, in fact, you know it's two records. I don't even know they will approve the two.
Okay.
I first got the acceptance for the painting, but I was happy. Yeah, I was really happy that, yes, I got it.
Yeah.
I was like, in the next 10 minutes, I was like, there is another email for
Wow.
the coloring.
Wow.
I don't know they will approve the two together like that. So I was, let me just take the challenge and do the two together.
So now, when you mentioned Hilda Bassi earlier on, no, she did a lot of preparation, and we saw it because she covered it. You know, she took a lot of videos, and there was a lot of content online about how she prepared for it. So what was your preparation process like?
Okay, so when I got accepted in December, I was shocked, really, because I wasn't prepared, you know. So that was why I postponed it.
Okay.
I was supposed to do it around December before, but I postponed it to January to be able to prepare well. And talking about preparation, what I needed most was the physical fitness and mental readiness.
Okay.
To say. So started exercise.
You started
get my
exercise.
body.
You went to the gym, or you started running?
Running, yes.
Wow.
Running every day, at least 2 hours every day.
Wow.
To prepare myself, because I know that it will be a very long stuff. So.
Okay, so 110 hours is how many days now? 24 hours is 1 day.
That is like a week, 7 or 8 days. You know, there are two, it's two records.
Wait first. 110 days was the painting record.
Yes.
And that was how many days? Say that again.
That is 5 days. Should be 5 days.
5 days
Yeah.
painting.
I intended to do 120 hours before.
Okay.
So I applied for 120 hours.
Okay.
But I couldn't finish the 120
Okay.
hours.
But you got to 110, which was already a record.
Yes, because the last record was 100.
100 hours, so 10 hours more than the last record holder.
Yes.
Really, congratulations on
you.
doing that. Now, what was the process like? Sitting, standing? How much paint did you use? Tell us some more details.
Okay, I can sit, I can stand, but I must not stop for maximum of 1 minute.
Okay.
While painting, the brush must not leave the canvas for maximum of 1 minute.
Wow.
So that's only the challenging part. For the coloring,
Wow.
the pencil or the pastel that I'm using must not leave the
paper
for maximum of 30 seconds.
Wow.
So that was really challenging. Every 1 hour, I was given 5-minute break.
Okay.
So, but I can compile it together. Like if I do 4 hours, if I do 2 hours, I have 10-minute break.
Yeah.
If I do 4 hours, I have 20-minute breaks. So
Wow.
like that. The highest I did was 6 hours, and I did it once.
6 hours at once?
Yes, and I
Goodness
rested for
me.
30 minutes.
So honestly, it's still mind-blowing. Earlier on, myself, Mazino, Winfrey were talking about the fact that paint has fumes.
Yes.
And we were wondering, were you in a particular, were you on cloud 9 at some point in time?
Yes. Yeah, actually, the coloring aspect was a bit boring to me, but
wow.
the painting, I enjoyed it
Wow.
more. I enjoyed the painting more.
Of course you did.
Yes, because the coloring, is boring. Just shade it.
Okay.
So it's kind of boring. So, but for the painting, I enjoyed it. But when it got to a point, my body couldn't take it again. So I'm not sure if you've read it. I started hallucinating. I started feeling dizzy.
Wow.
So my heart started beating fast. That was the main reason why I stopped actually.
Okay. So at some point in time, you probably had to wear a mask or something like that?
No.
Okay.
That is because the kind of paint I used was water-based.
Okay.
If I had used oil paint,
yes.
Maybe I would have used. In fact, I was advised not to use it because of the chemicals.
Okay. All right.
So that was why I used the acrylic.
I honestly have to say it's extremely impressive what you were able to achieve. Congratulations on breaking not just 1, but 2 records. And yes, indeed, Kenny, you are a mastermind. Coming to talk to us about it is just the tip of the iceberg. People are going to know you for this amazing feat that you have achieved.
Thank you.
All right, so how many records are you planning to break in the next maybe 1 year, 2 years? Well, speaking of breaking things, let's take a quick break and be back.
Back, it's time once again for a very interesting segment here for health. And of course, we have with us Dr. Bonjubola Abiri, consultant, psychiatrist, lecturer, managerial psychologist, everything all in one. Today we have a very interesting topic, and we're talking how to become a ruler over your emotions. You are welcome, Dr. Abiri.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Bonjubola Abiri.
Very well done.
Thank you very much. So good to have you here. Today, let's talk about this. We are characterized by how we handle our emotions. However, how can we have a handle on our emotions in the first place?
All right.
Please tell.
So I think that by starting, it's important to know what exactly an emotion is. There's a quote, I don't know who to ascribe it to, that says that life without emotions is like a vehicle without fuel. It's not going anywhere. And then very often you find people saying, I don't have emotions, I don't feel emotions. In fact, in my practice about 5 years ago, I met a young man who told me, Doc, I don't know when I'm happy, I don't know when I'm sad, I don't know when I'm angry. And so what did I do? I recommended a very lovely movie back then, Inside Out. It's a Disney Pixar,
yeah.
but lovely.
That.
And by the time he came back, he was, he knew what was going on. So emotions, are, a subjective feeling state that is, it's subjective. You know how it is that you're feeling. You have things going on in your mind. So there's also a psychological part to it. And at the end of the day, you have a behavior. Very often people think that emotions just happen. And so, for instance, if I slapped you and then you go angry and slap me back, they would say, I don't know what happened. Yeah, I won't. Well, I won't slap you in the first place. But they say that I didn't even have a moment to think. No, emotions are, you have an idea. And so, for instance, emotions, before an emotion shows up, there's a trigger. Something happens. Apart from the trigger, there's an appraisal. And so it's very important at this point that we say that emotions are most times not based on reality. It's not about what's going on at that point in time, but about something that may have happened and influence, your thought processes from the past. So if, for instance, and I always give this example that maybe I was in university and I dated a young man called Mazino, and maybe he broke my heart and served me breakfast. Every time I see a Mazino, what am I likely to think?
Yeah, to think he's a heartbreaker.
So that's the appraisal.
Yeah.
Following the appraisal, of course, you also have what we know as physiological mechanisms. Your heart races, your respiration increases, your muscles tense, depending on what it is. And at the end of the day, you have a behavior. So there's a trigger, there's an appraisal, there are physiological mechanisms, and then you have a behavior. So emotions are complex physiological mechanisms and processes, and they don't just happen.
I like that you did that.
Yeah, so
first of all, defining what an emotion is before we go right into it.
Very important. And then I think it's also very important that people remember that there are no good or bad emotions. You just have appropriate or inappropriate emotions for the situation at the point in time. But now, how do you become a ruler over your emotions? Because more often than not, we have people who are unable to control their emotions, who go into a rage, who may start to cry, uncontrollably, depending on what life throws at them. And so the ruler is just, an acronym. R-U-L-E-R.
Again.
Yeah, well.
Again, she does this every week.
It always makes it easier.
Always fun. All right, what's this one?
It always makes it easier to remember. So the R says that you must recognize your emotions and emotions in other people. Of course, there's a whole, conversation on emotional intelligence about how it is that you must be aware of your own emotions, regulate your own emotions, and then be able to manage other people's emotions. So the first thing is to be able to recognize your own emotions and emotions of other people. The U says that you must understand that there's a cost to your emotion. Something triggered this again, and there's a consequence to any emotion that I have. The L says that you must be able to label your emotions appropriately. What am I feeling? And so instead of just saying, it do me giz-giz, or I'm just feeling somehow, what exactly? Give a name to it, put a name to it, identify it, and label it correctly.
Anger, is it pain? Is it trauma?
Exactly. Is it shame? Is it envy? Is it jealousy? What exactly am I feeling?
Envy and jealousy, too closely related.
Yes. And then the E encourages that you express your emotions. Express it in an appropriate manner. So if you feel angry, you can say something about it. No one is saying be destructive, and that's where the R comes in. You must be able to regulate your emotions in a socially acceptable manner. Sometimes you can be angry, but you can decide that in that moment, I just want to walk away. Sometimes you can be so happy, and instead of grabbing somebody who you don't know, you hold yourself and you say, oh, let me contain my joy or my happiness. So that's how to be a ruler over your emotions.
The E part is very, very important for me because I've often heard, I grew up having a temper. Yeah. Anybody who's known me from before, you would know the other guy. I'm not the vampire you used to know, but I grew up having MM is squeezing her face. I grew up having a temper, and so what I've tried to do is not express that.
Yeah.
Now, I know that for every, that I use, there might be a good or bad side. In not expressing anger at all, what are the, to what detrimental effect?
Well, so not expressing not just anger, but any other emotion that you feel is like putting dirt under a carpet. You know how it is that we say it destroys it from inside.
Yeah.
And so what happens when you have such a high-powered emotion, such as anger, and you don't let it go out? What happens clearly is you have a lot of, hormones being secreted, largely stress hormones, negative hormones. So all the cortisol, sometimes oxytocin, a bit of it, epinephrine, norepinephrine. And so what does it do? It does exactly what chronic stress will do to you. Because if you are keeping anger inside, something that you should, allow to go out through an outlet, what it does is that it then starts to cause damage at different, organ systems.
Yeah, it affects the organs, the actual physical organs.
It's the reason why, for instance, they say that unforgiveness tears people apart, breaks you in, especially because you're holding back and you're not letting go. So it's important to feel your feelings, feel your
what you're feeling
emotions
at any time.
Yes, and don't just quell it and bottle it up. Of course.
Substituting emotions, however, what about that? Substitution expressions, is that to any detriment? I mean, for instance, and once again, I'm going to go personal. I substitute anger with happy-go-lucky. Just be happy. So I'm either very angry or always very happy. I'm never in between.
Yeah.
So any detrimental effect?
Well, so again, what I'll tell you is, first of all, identify what you're feeling. Feel your feeling.
It's anger, but I'm smiling.
Yeah.
You imagine the conflict for me.
Definitely.
Because sometimes you're in a position where you're really pained, but especially in the business we're in, we have to create the illusion that we're always happy. I'm not happy right now. So you get what I mean.
Yes,
we
I
have
do.
to work with substituting those anger. In the past, I know of moments where I've become very depressed. There was times of doing morning radio and you always only read about the doom and gloom of Nigeria and all of that.
Sadly
So
so.
once the fader goes up, it's always about the doom and gloom, and you're still supposed to have that infectious happiness that people are supposed to live by as they're going to work listening to radio. But once the fader came down, I became so depressed. Like, what is going on? It was a roller coaster from the heights to the lowest points. How do you manage that, especially professionally?
Also, I can imagine, and of course, it takes us back to that conversation about mental health in the workplace. Being able to identify and know what the triggers and stressors of your peculiar work environment is. But then again, don't discard what you're feeling. Feel it. Understand that, well, this is what I signed up for. There are days, I sit in sessions with patients and I'm moved to tears because the experiences are so traumatic. I can see myself in their trauma. But again, somebody has to be the one who stands up for us all. So what I would say, of course, is feel your feelings, go through the ruler, and at the end of the day, if you can't handle it by yourself, so for instance, some of the things that you can do, you can listen to music, you can exercise, you can do all the things that make you, the healthy and adaptive things that make you happy. But if at the end of the day, those do not work, please, by all means, be a guest on my couch.
I would love to be a guest on your couch along with other submissions that you've made today. Like, for instance, is it still open to be the person that dated you back in school? Or at least take lessons from you for Yoruba names.
Let's find the time machine. Perhaps we can talk about that.
Ooh, she is in on this. But once again, please remind us, ruler, R for...
Recognize the emotion in yourself and in others.
Then
You understand that your emotions have causes and consequences. L, label your emotions appropriately. The E, appropriately. The E, express your emotions. And the R, regulate your emotions in a socially acceptable manner.
Labeling, however, might be tough for people because what is this? How do I define it? I can express it, but I don't know what it is exactly, especially when it comes to envy, jealousy,
Yeah.
shame, or there's one close to shame. I can't remember what it is. But you know, all those kind of things. I feel a certain kind of way. I'm not sure if it's shame or if it's just anger. You know, so labeling can be difficult. How can one put a tab on labeling these emotions?
So labeling would be easier if people were more self-aware.
Self-awareness.
So self-awareness is key. Know yourself. It's if you don't know yourself, you can't, be the best. Know yourself. Know who you are and have open, fearless, and honest conversations with yourself. Like I said, my patient many years ago honestly told me he was vulnerable. Doc, I don't know how I feel per time. Know yourself. And then get in tune with your emotions. Be honest. Whatever it is that you're going through, ask yourself, sit down with yourself. And sometimes, a barrier to being self-aware may also be because you've gone through so much trauma that has shielded or covered up quite a lot of your life. So at the end of the day, again, you may need a therapist to handhold you through the process of self-discovery, of which, of course, self-awareness is number one.
Fantastic. It's been has it been 5 weeks?
4
weeks. Well, this is the last time we're seeing you this month at least. We will definitely have you back again because it's been such an educative session, all 4 of them, every single time that you've been here. And I'm glad that I've had the giant share of actually having these conversations with you because I've learned a lot personally and I didn't have to pay for it.
Not just yet.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bonjibola
Thank you very much.
Abiri. It's been fantastic having you on our couch.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having you again. Of course, we have your social media handles so we can follow you with all those very zany things that you do on social media. She's very zany on social media. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let me say thank you to everybody who has seen you for all 4 weeks. And of course, please, if anybody out there has a time machine, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's the end of the show. I have the ladies who might have submissions for the end of today's Tuesday edition here. Winfred and Titi, you guys enjoyed the doctor's sessions, didn't you?
Of course. In fact, I wish you didn't have to go.
Yeah.
What I loved most about it was seeing you stay shameless, Mazina.
Wow.
See, this is mental. This is another mental, or whatever the case. Thank you, everybody who's been a part of the show since morning, staying with us since 7 a.m. up until now. The ladies appreciate it, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll have another Mazzino bashing session tomorrow morning.
No, it won't. It won't be on TV.
It won't, Abby? Oh, that's true. Okay,
You
we'll
have
save
to
it till
sulk for Monday
Thursday.
and Tuesday.
We'll save it till Thursday.
I won't be here, sadly.
All right, well, Wednesday, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, we will be back with another exciting edition of Wake Up Nigeria.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.